Short answer, yes. Long answer, absolutely. So for those unaware, One Piece Fan Letter is a loose anime adaptation of the One Piece novel Straw Hat Stories. That's an official novel written by Tomohito Osaki. The whole existence of this project was to commemorate One Piece anime's 25th anniversary. And on its own, I mean, the script isn't exactly anything too special, but the reason why it was so good was because of Megumi Ishitani. She took what was a fairly average script and turned it into one of the best anime episodes I've ever experienced. There are no words to describe just how phenomenal of a director she really is. Now, if you haven't heard the name Ishitani, then you probably live in the Sasquatch's cave, or you are the Sasquatch himself, because I don't think there's anybody that's in the anime community that doesn't know that name. And it's for a good reason, because every single thing that she touches turns to fucking Lucky Charms. It's just out of this world. And I'm just going to be honest, I was not planning to make a video about this at all, but every time I think that I'm familiar with her game, I'm just not. She just fucking blows my mind out of the water. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. When I first heard that Ishitani was relegating her skills to working on this project instead of the source material, which we all love, I was kind of disappointed. But man, remind me to never doubt Ishitani again, bro. Like, wow. Throughout my life, I've read and watched hundreds of series, and I'll tell you, I do not give out 10 out of 10s very easily. There's only a handful that I have, like One Piece and ReZero up there. So, when I say this is a masterpiece, I fucking mean it. Like, this 24-minute short is just perfect in pretty much every way. Now, I've seen people use a lot of metrics like My Anime List to say that this is the best thing that has ever come out in anything ever, and it's much better than any of these shows. Whoa there, let's calm our horses down, because I feel like we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Now, while I do think that Fan Letter is fucking phenomenal, let's not compare it to whole ass series, because this comparison is kind of ridiculous. Like, you're not gonna compare Hunter x Hunter to one episode that's a one-shot 24-minute one and done. You know, it just makes no sense to compare the two. It's like comparing my shits to my farts. That aside, I want to talk about what it is that exactly makes One Piece Fan Letter so good. I don't think there's another director out there that understands One Piece as well as Ishitani does. So what are the two aspects of One Piece that really make it stand out from any other series? Well, I'd say the comedy, number one, it has a very unique twist on slapstick comedy. And number two, it's able to effortlessly juxtapose that Looney Tunes cartoony comedy and style with its more serious and dramatic themes and tones. And with that, it's able to seamlessly weave heavy emotional narratives that most of the time relate back to real world events. And Ishitani, well, she gets a backwards three-pointer and makes it a swish, baby. She nails every single aspect that makes this series so good. She just has such a masterful understanding of what it is that makes One Piece click so well, and the emotional beats that she's able to portray through these 24 minutes is honestly something that I couldn't even dream of seeing. Throughout its very short runtime, it made me laugh at every single joke and made me shed tears over the two major emotional beats that happen in the episode. You all know which ones I'm talking about. Now, I don't really want to spoil anything here in case you haven't watched it, because trust me, this is something that you have to check out for yourself. But the premise of the story basically revolves around a teenage girl who became infatuated with Nami and her journey aboard the Straw Hat Pirate crew. And as a result, she wants to deliver her a fan letter to express just how much Nami inspired her in her own life. It's a very simple yet wholesome premise, but it's definitely going to exceed your expectations, let's just say that. Now, there are some other characters here and there, predominantly the two Marine brothers, whose stories will have you pretty much awestruck. Now, I can't talk about them without going into spoilers, so just leave this video now if you haven't watched the episode already. Also, if you're gonna watch it, I very highly recommend you watch it after the Return to Sabaody arc, because nothing's gonna hit the same if you don't finish that beforehand. With that being said, spoiler time. Good to go? Okay. So through the lens of these two brothers, we basically get a short little retelling of the Marineford War. But this retelling is unlike anything we've ever experienced. Because every other time we took the position or point of view of somebody like Luffy, who's obviously the main character, and as weak as he was during the Marineford War compared to all the other powerhouses there, he was never that weak comparatively speaking to most other characters. It's just that in that situation, he was against top tiers from all over the globe. But Luffy never backed down against all odds. All that overwhelming sense of despair and defeat, the power in front of him, he never stopped. He kept striding forward. And because of that, our feelings are reciprocated through Luffy's. If Luffy's not feeling fear or desperation, we as viewers don't feel it either, because the tone of the arc matches what Luffy is going through. That's why when he broke down when Ace died, that overwhelming sense of despair just hit us like a truck. But we never got to see what everybody else was feeling. Because what is a commoner in a war against titans if not an ant? And that's exactly what we got to see through the perspective of these two brothers. They pretty much couldn't do anything, they were fighting tooth and nail just to survive. I just love how we finally got a perspective on the Marineford War that was so cruel and real, because that is what war is. Yet amongst all that chaos, Luffy's voice was still able to reach other people. At its crux, this is what One Piece is about. It's about how somebody, no matter how insignificant you think you may be, you have an impact on somebody else's life. You have the ability to change things and influence other people. That's why in this short, there's no character that has a name. Everybody is just nameless. And I really love that artistic choice because it reflects what the message of this short is about. With one heartfelt shout, Luffy was able to change the life of one insignificant marine. He saved his brother. Which, if he had not done that, if Luffy didn't make that one shout, that marine would have lived his life in regret because he ran away from saving his brother. Imagine the shame and guilt he would feel living a life like that. Yet Luffy doesn't know. He doesn't know that that one shout changed the lives of not just that one marine, but likely so many other people. And unbeknownst to him, it even saved his own life. It might be knocking down dominoes, or even you could call it the butterfly effect, but this one marine is what enabled a seemingly insignificant girl from ripping apart a fan letter. God, I love this story. So yeah, I think that everybody can unanimously agree that this story, or this one episode, is at least a 9 out of 10. I don't know how you can say otherwise unless you're just not a fan of One Piece, in which case, why aren't you, and why did you watch this episode? Even if we completely exclude the amazing directing and art and animation that went into making this episode, it still perfectly encapsulates what One Piece is about. So because of that, no matter which way you spin my nipples, I still think that this is a must-watch for anybody that calls themselves a One Piece fan. Making One Piece fan letter a certified 10 out of 10, because this was not a fan letter. This was a love letter to the fans and series. And yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. See ya.